Okay, well, welcome back. We are continuing on with episode 2. I don't, what am I supposed to be doing? Quest, bag, calendar. I guess none of that. Marketplace. Map. Your shop. Stock shelves. Nothing on the shelves. Back. Crafting. Okay, assign recipe. Can I make anything? I cannot make anything. Alright, iron ingots. Alright. Right. Thank you, my dude. Where I want it to be. How do I get out of your screen, sir? Oh, down here. Okay. We'll go back to map and to shop. Crafting. Guy, is that all they'll do? Like, what am I waiting for? Map, maybe? What do you got? Nothing that I particularly want at the moment. Own 5. Carrot, potato, broth. Okay. I'm confused. Is this what he's... They won't do anything more? The compost. I sort of recall in the last episode that they crafted and then I could make them craft other things as well. Well, I guess. I know, right? I don't blame you. Hello, are you Manilia? Medi sent me. You're Ava, the historian? Yes, do you mind if I come inside? I'm here to discuss something that requires discretion. Hopefully we can speak in private here. Ava's eyes dart in the direction of your employees. My discretion is only as good as my word. I fear I shall not tell a soul. I can't hear you over this melting. So, Medi tells me you experienced a memory? Play it honest. I'm not sure what I saw. From what Medi told me, what you experienced sounds like a memory, but the details seemed off. For starters, the swallowing? Memories are typically experienced by simply holding the mote in your hand. Explain yourself. The swallowing wasn't voluntary. Of course, I didn't mean to accuse you. It was an accident, and I believe you. What were memory motes doing in the water, I wonder? That might be worth looking into. Today, however, I want to confirm that what you experienced was, in fact, a memory. I assume someone has mentioned memories to you before, correct? Seagull did. Seagull told me. A lot. Right, Seagull. Well, with all due respect, he may not have a good understanding of what memories are. Memories are a manifestation of the elemental energies unique to Rosewall. We've yet to pinpoint exactly when or why these energies begin to appear in Rosewall, but we do know is that they are incredibly useful, whether as sprites or as memories. Sprites and memories? Yes, the elemental energy I mentioned can manifest in two distinct ways. The first is an elemental form, which we call sprites, and which Seagull has taken to calling blobs. There are 4 basic forms in which these energies can manifest: air, earth, fire, and water. Those are the ones you'll likely seen about town already. They can take on the form of various small animals, rocks, tiny clouds, or the like based on their affinities. They act on their own, but they have no language outside of the occasional noise, like a baby's. While they are certainly adorable, they are also enormously useful for our day-to-day lives within Rosewall, unlike babies. For example, air sprites can fly and create small wind currents. Fire sprites can heat just about anything or give off light. We found lots of ways to use them to make all kinds of things easier and more efficient in Rosewall. Did anybody ask the sprites if they wanted to be used? The catch, however, is that sprites will dissipate if they stray too far from Rosewall. We're not entirely sure why. Memories are different. They manifest as smaller, inanimate motes. They're also psychoactive? Ava thankfully cuts you off before you can speak. Fickle. They tend to appear in places where people have experienced strong emotions or where momentous events have occurred. Memories were first encountered shortly after the city's founders settled here. They weren't sure what they were at first, but realized that if they held them for a short time, they would experience visions. Some thought they were premonitions, but historians realized memories were depicting events of the history books mischaracterized or left out. As we realized we could use memories to tell our stories better than any person can write them, we began phasing out written history in favor of memories. Could you write down what the memories say? Anyway, we have a way for people to relive the past in vivid detail. The sights, the smells, the emotions of the people who lived them, everything. This was especially true of one of the most valuable memories, the end of the Great War. Didn't the Great War happen outside of Rosewall? That was what I was told. Apologies, I will shut off my ears. It did, yes, but one of the final conflicts was over Echo Mountain, beneath which Rosewall was built. When we found the memory of that battle in the Great War, for people to be able to experience such a momentous event firsthand, so full of suffering, I think, if you're up for it, it'd be better to simply show you. It feels strange to bring it here to you, but considering the Hall of Sparks is closed, I think it's best if you had a memory to reference. Ava extends her upturned palm towards you, and in it is a small, gleaming sphere. You feel a strange sensation, like a warm light in your palm. Your eyes turn towards Ava, and she clenches her palm, and you tighten your grip. You feel your lungs expanding. You are out of breath, and you enter a battlefield. I woke up to the end of a nightmare. I'd fallen asleep in the middle of it all. Some other soldier must have found me and taken me to a camp. An excuse for them to borrow time, perhaps. I don't blame my savior. Death kept busy in that valley. And for what? I've forgotten what kept us in its shadows. But I'll always remember what the messenger told me. I was less of a messenger than a spectator that day. The yells of panic had ended. The streaks of fire gave up, painting the sky. I didn't feel chaos wreathing inside me. All of it was replaced by the silence of a miracle. The collective waking from a miracle. Collecting waking from a nightmare. There was a glint in everyone's eyes, even those who gripped their banners tightest. I carried a banner I didn't believe in. Our lords had decided the river dividing the valley, and the ore and the land on the other side were worth this nightmare. I noticed then my banner was also a pike. The ore was already gone. So were most of the living. This land held no value. By their stony pell, I think the ones set to shake hands, our imperatrix and their drummer, had only just realized this. In a desperate bid, the imperatrix herself had come to see the fight. How noble of me, how valiant, how righteous. It was the best mistake I could have ever made. For the first time I saw what my commands meant for the commanded. The dwindling of the violent mass at the bottom of the valley was many things, but not noble, not valiant, not righteous. I believe that at that moment both sides knew we would lose. We were fighting over embers. Why? Our beasts, pride, greed, tradition. I chose to smother those pathetic creatures, with the hope that the drummer across the valley wanted the same. Did the imperatrix see what I did? She sounded her call first, but my reflex lingered. The one stamped into me since birth, a drummer of war, I wanted to wage on. But I saw her eyes, even as I sounded the drums this time to drive the beast of the death back. I thought it would betray everyone who sacrificed for the cause. Perhaps it would, but it would also save many more. We needed a record. Find a table, they said, and parchment. We need a record. If you do this, you won't ever have to fight again. I thought the drummer meant I'd been promoted. Thankfully, my lord and the imperatrix knew the ritual already. I wasn't sure what was about to happen. The tears fell all the same. How long would this last? How could we reconcile this whole mess? We've been fighting for a reason, after all. Sometimes we have no choice but to fight. But with that option off the table, what else was there? And in that moment, we risked it all to find out. That was kind of a weird reading, right? Like, it was flipping between point of views. From the imperatrix to the drummer to the guy holding the banner. Like, that was a little bit weird, and I guess, but I kind of like the idea of it, and the fact that this moat was just telling the story as is, this little sprite was just telling the story as it knew, with no regard of which point of view it was telling. It was just telling everybody's. I kind of liked it. It was a little chaotic there. The memory relinquishes its hold on you. Your senses are overtaken by loss, a dread, a revulsion. Manilia. You feel a profound kinship with those who fought to prove someone else's point. How would it have been worth it? Is this what we were like? Or how could anyone decide to do this? Let's do that one. A handful of people decided this had to happen. The few played with the many like they were pawns. All to prove their conviction to an idea they themselves would not have to die for, and the histories of those sacrificed disappeared, lost. How would it have been worth it? Battles are not fought for their own sake. Blood is shed when a belief is so strongly held that force is the only metric we know to express it. Such belief is a luxury seldom afforded to those who bleed. Manilia, are you all right? I'm here. Memories can be very powerful. This one especially. You felt it, right? How vivid it was? The emotions running through you? That's why Rosewall was so invested in memories, not just to tell us our own history, but to spread the message of others. What you have just experienced, the end of the Great War, deeply affected the entire world. Around the time Rosewall was founded, there were factions gearing up for a retaliation in the wake of the Great War. After Rosewall's early settlers found memories of the Great War, they invited leaders of the warring parties to experience them. Every one of them agreed to implement policies that limited or outright banned weapons of war. It felt just like what I saw the other day. You cut right to it with confidence meant to cut off Ava's suspicion about your story. You tell her about the strange town. That's troubling. You're sure what you experienced was a memory from somewhere outside of Rosewall? It throws so much of what we know about memories into question. We have ample research indicating the energies that manifest as sprites and memories can't exist outside the city. So the location, time, and the actual event you believe you saw are all deeply concerning. The location? The place you described sounds nothing like Rosewall. I don't know of any places nearby like that either. For this memory to have come from the Maiden's Kiss, it just doesn't make any sense. As far as we know, the end of the Great War is the earliest memory on record. But if this memory takes place outside of Rosewall, it also question... Okay, slow down. Breathe. But if this memory takes place outside Rosewall, it also raises questions about when it took place. If the event you describe happened before the Great War, it would go against everything we know about memories. The event? The flooding, yes. Rosewall is above sea level, and as far as we know, there aren't any bodies of water that could flood it nearby. That said, if whatever you experienced was impactful enough to produce a memory, there would have been a record of it somewhere, wouldn't it? What you told me raises more questions than answers, I'm afraid. I want to believe you, but I'll have to do some research back to the... Oh, but the reopening is soon. Reopening? Oh, the Hall of Sparks, yes, where Rosewall stories... Oh, the Hall of Sparks, yes, where Rosewall stores its memories. The previous curator, my mentor, retired, so I'm taking her place. I spent the last few months cataloging every memory we have, but the hall has been closed in the meantime. Reopening the hall is my top priority for the time being, but I'll see what I can dig up about this memory of yours. I guess I also need to chat with Seagull. Your experience gives his story more weight. I'll have to see what he says lines up with what you saw. For now, however, I must be off. Thank you for your time. Ava raises some major doubts about the reliability of the memory you and Seagull experienced. Could your interpretation of what you saw be more reliable than the history it contradicts? If that's true, what, where, and when exactly did you see? Okay, so they must only be able to craft one thing at a time, which is slightly unfair, right? Not sure how I feel about that. We can't add anybody. Okay. Well, open shop.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah.
end of the week, winter week 1. Half and half. Great. At the end of the week, any unsold goods or unused ingredients are sold off at a discounted liquidation price. If you want to hold on to some items, saved goods slots can be used to carry items over to the next week. Oh. Cold. A week-long anniversary of the founding of Rosewall. For savory items. Hmm. I'm a little confused as to why they're only crafting one thing at a time, right? Because I could have swore he crafted other things as well. Maybe not. And that says potatoes. You own 10 carrots. 5. Oh, buy all. Okay. Crafting stations. Self-upgrade. Shop expansion. Front of house. I think it's going to be based on reputation, so we can't. Okay, well, let's craft, I guess. Again, why can't I move him?
Aw.
Hey there, Manilia. Remember me? Old sailor who helped you with your digestive thing the other day. Your memory is fine. Yes, I remember you, Seagull. Oh, good. You might think that's a weird question, but folks weirdly forget me sometimes. Even the second or third time I start talking theories with them, they're avoiding eye contact. So I was in the Hall of Sparks the other day. Ava said the hall was closed. Only if you respect signs. Well, I was there and I ran into Ava, and we started chatting about our memory. She asked me about the memory I saw, which caught me off guard, but I figured it out. She's spying on me for the blobs. Elaborate. When she asked me about my memory, I made a cunning move to earn her trust, told her all about it. And then she told me something she shouldn't have, that the secret to this whole thing lies in that fountain. I realized that when she said, and I quote, "You should investigate the fountain." Uh-huh. Right, what a slip. The Maiden's Kiss gets all its water from the Waken Springs. But there's no way that memory comes from there. The town we saw was way too different. But maybe the fountain gets its water from somewhere else? So I'm going to have another look around the Maiden Kiss, see if anyone's there familiar with the history of the place. Then I'm going to visit City Hall. I don't wanna, but I will for this. You don't like going to City Hall? The drums ain't been kind to me. Most folks there think I'm a loon. But just 'cause I can't prove something, and that makes no sense, don't mean it ain't true. I'm gonna need help cutting through all that red tape, though. Maybe Medi. See, if you see him, could you ask about any records of water sources for the Maiden's Kiss? A request for access slip ought to do it. If I got that, it won't matter what people think that. A request for access slip ought to do it. If I got that, won't matter what people there think of me. All right, I'm off. Wish me luck. Glad you got that all settled. Right. Let's see. Pepper. Oop, not where I meant to be. I meant to be here. Crafting. Okay. Vegetable broth. Potato.
Ooh. Eh.
Level 2. We made it. Vegetable broth. Potato. That was carrot, potato, beef. Why do I keep going to Marketplace? It's like a muscle memory now. Shop. We are broke. We are broke. I should have thought about that before I started going all crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Aw.
Merchant Manilia, open up, please. I just wanted to check in on our latest merchant. How are things going? Talk about Zico. Zico was hoping you'd do him a favor, actually. I shall do my best to help the fellow however I can, but his requests are often unreasonable. He wanted to access water source records from City Hall. Ah, I see. Well, since you both experienced your visions after drinking from the fountain, it makes sense to investigate where that water comes from. You may already be influencing his behavior for the better. I shall put in the request for access through my colleagues at City Hall. In the meantime, has anything else come up? Talk about Ava. What do you know about Ava? I take it she visited? Well, she is now the new creator of the Hall of Sparks after the previous creator retired. Why is it in italics? She is superbly studious, and she's always been enraptured by the power of the elementals and of memory, so specifically. To hear her tell it, the power in a memory to inform our understanding of past events outstrips any other kind of archival work. Zico said she seemed suspicious. Well, Lorraine is rather circumstance of everyone. At one time, he accused me of being in cahoots with the sprites, due to my consistent punctuality. I should mention, however, that Ava appraised me of your recent conversation with her. It seems this fountain memory story has more solid grounding than I first believed. What else did you have in mind? Just minding the shop, getting used to things. Excellent. A moment of calm for our new merchant at last. Make sure you keep a pace of what's required of you, specifically what Estoc requires of you every month. They can be quite stern with those who do not meet their standards. With that, I shall take my leave. I have much to catch up on, including to the request from Master Lorraine. Good day. So, what can you... Pewter. Iron crowbar. Interesting. Oh, we gotta go shopping. Sorry, big guy. Gnomish noodles.
Ooh.
End of the week, winter week 2. Ooh. Ooh. Vendor price day. Oh no. Oh no. Vendor half price day. The vendors have received a subsidy from the Rosewall's Merchant Guild. As such, vendors' prices in the parade are 50% cheaper. Lucky you. 1 day only. Restrictions apply. See the ETC for more details. Cool. All right, marketplace. Copper, tin. Oop. Take and bake. That sounds yummy. And potato. Guess make. I can't make more. Yeah, I only can craft one thing a day, which seems a little unfair.
Ooh.
Aw.
A taste of Rosewall. Rosewall has an influx of foodies in town seeking the next great taste adventure. Can you give them what they want? Demand for cooking goods has increased for a limited time. Potato. Oh no, they didn't like the
Aw.
steak bake. Oops. Staples, no, not a 3-hole punch for your composition paper. The essential goods that make the world go round. Comfort items will have a higher demand. Hey, Manila, I figured out you might be too good to answer your own door by now. Was gonna try out some conversation starters. Oh, well. The seagull's voice gets all weird. More importantly, I arrive heretofore an important business post haste. I have instigated a line of investigative inquiry at the library within City Hall. I've learned certain attendants were resistant to my efforts to acquiesce information about the water records vis-a-vis the Maiden's Kiss fountain. Fortunately, once Master Meddy's request for access paperwork is successfully defrocked within the clerks, they became amendable. They now fully expect my presence within their hallowed halls ipso pronto, with the intent to commit research using their archives. Have you intent to declare the objective of your sudden change in dictation? Certainly. A mere trifle to expand upon. I wished... Oh, it's the word. Never mind. Can't keep it up. I tried to use fancy words to impress the folks at City Hall. That's why I need you to come with me. I don't know how to act around those folks. What are you looking for again? Records on water sources. Most important thing in the world right now. We already know the Maiden's Kiss fountain don't get its water from the Waken Spring like the rest of the park does. I know where the fountain gets its water from. Just need to confirm it. Where? The blobs. Of course. If I'm gonna break this wide open, I'm gonna need proof that fountain's got no real water source. That it's just a mass of blobs gathered there, tricking people into drinking the water and seeing what they want us to see. Just need someone to come with me. Make me seem more authoritative-ish. Meet me at the City Hall whenever you're ready. Anticipating an altercation with a malevolent literati, you attempt to eternally manifest a grandiloquent and gregarious constitution comparable to even the most verbose sesquipedalian. Oh my god. Ugh, whatever. Glad to be off that tram. The heat, I'm sweating up a storm over here. Seagull, relax. Easy for you to say. Anyone who raises a stink about how things ain't the way they think they are, or want to do something about the world, people don't want to hear it. But I insist on letting everyone know the world is under threat from the blobs everyone thinks looks cute. So, my mission. Larini, Seagull, and the merchant Meddy mentioned, I presume. Vanilia. Seagull's fine. It's what everyone's called me. Very well. I am Capricia, Chief Secretary. Master Meddy informed me of your business concerning certain infrastructure matters. Confirm. Yes, we are here to discuss infrastructure. Excellent. Best not to discuss such matters in the foyer. Let us proceed to my office. I believe the Undersecretary has provided an accurate appraisal of your reasons for assessing public records. But I would like to get a more direct statement from you both. In keeping with City Hall procedure, I will be taking notes on our meeting. Don't mind my pinning. We just want to know where the fountain in the Maiden's Kiss gets its water. Why? Stick to the facts. We both swallowed memories that emerged from it. Foolhardy behavior, aptitude could raise concerns, investigate sign placement, or possible vandalism. What do you think might be happening at the fountain? Spell it as hard as you can. I'm not going to look at Seagull. It involves the sprites, with nothing less than the fate of Rosewall at stake. Catastrophizing, delusional thinking, maintains calm demeanor while announcing dire news. Harmless for now. Meddy's recommendation, important factor in consideration. What do you hope to learn from your investigation? We want to learn where the memory we saw came from. Interest in chasing down memory, potential addition to hollow sparks, if true. Seeing as... You're keeping us from the records because you're in league with the Mantia. Blobs don't want us prying. Inexplicable swings in temper may reconsider scope of conspiratorial thinking. I'm in league with no one but the city of Rosewall. Memories and testimonials indicate that sprites, or blobs as you call them, are not capable of wanting anything. Unless you can produce something other than baseless speculation as evidence, the Secretariat has no reason to believe otherwise. Now, if I can proceed without interruption. The reason for this meeting are twofold. First, the Undersecretary recommended I take this meeting to give your grievances due consideration. The second reason is that access to physical records of the goings-on in Rosewall required administrative supervision. How come? Interrupts, despite being instructed not to. You must know by now, Manilia, that Rosewall relies heavily on publicity available memories. Nope, that's not what that says at all. You must know by now, Manilia, that Rosewall relies heavily on publicly available memories over physical records to look back at history. Memories are relatively easy for anyone to experience, but informed analysis and investigation is more difficult to parse without bias. Thus, the physical records we do keep are held with more delicacy. So, when someone deemed a risk to the sanctity of the records wants to access them, we must take such a request seriously. But Maddie said... Interrupts despite passive-aggressive chiding of associate. The records are here for your perusal. We have some conditions, however. First, the records must remain in the office. Second, you have until City Hall closes for the day to browse them. Third, if your investigation should lead to acquiring another instance of a memory you both allegedly experienced, one that hasn't been ingested, you are to bring it to Ava Levante at the Hall of Sparks for collection. Do not consume it again. Are we clear? You nod. Emotional awareness to respond non-verbally when prompted. Good. A page will be outside to escort you to the entrance when you're finished. Good luck. Weird way to do research. Don't have much time before City Hall closes, so we ought to look while we can. I'll take this stack, you take the other one. Deal? You nod again when prompted. Good. Let's get to work. The volumes have been handed are as dense as they are numerous. It seems the Secretariat's page managed to pull anything that had water in the title. Takes time to find something on the fountain. Found it. Don't know why, but the fountain's a makeshift well that what irrigated its water from a place called Echo Lake. Wait, that Echo Lake? That ain't close. Why does it get water from all the way there? It's originally built to accommodate miners who wouldn't drink water from anywhere else. How'd you know that? You point to the book you were just reading. Can't be a coincidence. Seagull sits back down, and the many creases on his face further creased into a pensive, far-off stare. You okay? You seem tired. I'm fine. Not all that tired, actually. It's just... I'm not sure how it all fits. Why? Because our dream did involve miners, by the way. Blobs wouldn't be at Echo Lake. Way too far from Rosewall. And I'm pretty sure our memory takes place outside of Rosewall. I'm confused. Well, at least we have a lead. True, we gotta look into Echo Lake. Just can't shake the feeling we're walking into something we weren't meant to. Complete the Fountain of Mystery. Achievement unlocked. Alright, I think I'll leave you guys here. I will be back with more very soon, I promise.